So this is the last dealing with Christians once and for all. Simply draw the person with the Bible's attention to Mark chapter 12. I keep bringing it up, but there's a lot of elements to it that go undiscussed. Jesus gets accosted, and the accusatory question is, "Are you the king of the Jews?" And he replies in turn, "Well, you said it." So there's the possibility, there are a lot of possibilities. One is non-comprehension of the question, and that would be fair because the Jews being a conquered people, weren't running a monarchy. There wasn't a queen of the Jews. You're told that the queen of the Jews is a whore named Mary Magdalene. Why isn't she referred to as the queen of the Jews? They didn't have a monarch. They were enslaved. So is it appropriate to pursue a slave and say, "Are you the king of the Jews?" as a form of a formal charge for which you intend to proceed with execution? And the answer to that is no. And even the man who accused him said, "Are you the king of the Jews?" He knew that they had no monarch, so why did he ask him? What I'm trying to get at here is that it's evidence, it's literary evidence that they operated executions by instinct, by drive of instinct, including sex. So it felt like a right move sexually for this guy to go up to Jesus and go, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Now even then he goes, "Well, you said it." So he didn't say, "Well, you asked me." He didn't say, "Yes, I am," or "No, I'm not." He just said, "Well, you said it." And then they go off and execute him. So what I'm trying to say this demonstrates is an execution where the executors are motivated by, there's no political system in play, there's no set of rules that they've observed. They haven't didn't go up to him and say, "Excuse me, serf, slave, do you think you're superior to our king?" They didn't say anything like that. So their drive pursuant to accusing him was not their political system, and it obviously wasn't for spiritual guidance, as evidenced later by a loincloth. So it rules out just about everything. To have motivated the accusers, bar that of their sex drive, which, as I've argued, would be fucking spastic because they were raised to root their sisters. They were raised, you and your sister, little prince and princess. One day you'll be king and queen. And when inbreeders root, they get angry, they go out and then they go, "Well, let's execute a bunch of commoners. This person here, let's say he's taken too much water from a pond, and let's drown him. This person here, let's hang him. This person here, let's crucify him." And it operated like that. But just like with Diana dying and then the United Kingdom not raising the flag until everyone screamed in protest, Jesus is sort of treated in the same way. Treated in the same way, but not with a flag hoist, with 3 books called Matthew, Luke, and John. Most Christians are either lured by banners and signs that are filled with Johannine concepts, though it was written in 95 AD. Matthew's is written evidenced by knowledge of the destruction of the Jerusalem temple occurred in historically in 70 AD. So Mark's dated at around 70 AD and is considered the first written of the four. Plus, its content is repeated verbatim in whoever wrote the Matthew and Luke Gospels. You can get scholars to go and look and they'll find chunks of text where the symbols are copied identically. Matthew and Luke are dated at 80 to 85 AD, and John's at 95 AD. And Mark's at 70 AD. So it's like, imagine a police cover-up 10 to 15 years later, and then a cover-up of the cover-up, which is the Gospel of John, which is God sacrifices himself to save us all from himself. Fuck, we're frightened now. And the key two themes to notice if you contrast those four Gospels is that it's very humane. It's humanistic. If you read Mark's, there's not a lot of God bothering, even from Jesus' speech. He talks of this concept, the Son of Man. There's fuck all miracles. There's no rising from the dead. He's crucified and dies. That's it. And doesn't come back from the dead. So, as the other three come out later, on two fronts, Jesus changes. He becomes more politically outspoken, so that you might read it and think, oh, well, I can understand why they would put him to death back in those days in history. His speech is expanded to be more anti-political than it was in Mark's Gospel. And also the second gradient of an intense change is in the occurrence of around him and the performance of supernatural events. So, and all of those, if you investigate the pagan religions, absolutely every single one of those miracles, you'll find that a god in the pagan religions, and their great Saint Paul is said to have gone wandering around pagan Rome. Just one example is Dionysus, the Greek god of wine, and he turned water into wine in 1500 BC. So it's 1500 years before the assumed birth of Jesus. And so all these miracles are caked onto Jesus' story, and as are all these speeches, like, let's stick a grenade in the Queen's punani. Talk like that. Rebellious talk for which someone back then would be rightfully put to death. So what it looks as though they're concealing is that they wrongfully put someone to death and had to have scribes write out how to make it read as though it was right too. Which is what you get if you're a Christian who believes in all four Gospels having harmony to them. Try the harmony of me framing you and then people framing the framing of you 10 years later, and then more people framing the framing of you fucking 25 years later. And there you go. And then you'll learn what being a Christian is all about. And then you flee back to a garden and hook up with your mum, but without eating any apples. That's the essence of Christianity and Christian beauty, and I hope that you enjoy.